डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन युनिव्हर्सिटी.
Namaste. I, Devarshi Modi, welcome you all on our YouTube channel, Bhav Gujarat. Friends, as we are dealing with the study of poetry paper that is there in the TYBA syllabus, and we are looking at various forms of the poetry, we are discussing some of the famous poems and understanding in detail various forms with reference to those poems. And in this particular video lecture, that is the part 2 of Because I Could Not Stop for That, poem written by Emily Dickinson, we are going to understand in detail description, in detail analysis of each and every line of the poem. In the first part of this particular discussion, we have understood in detail various aspects of Emily Dickinson's writing style. We have understood in detail various ideas, and we got in detail understanding of the background idea of the reason behind writing this poem, Because I Could Not Stop for the Death. In this particular video, we will try to understand each and every line of the poem. We will also discuss the themes and the major symbols of this poem. We will try to get the idea about the form and the structure of this particular poem. So let us begin. First, I will try to read from my side the text of the poem, and then we'll try to understand the entire poem. Because I could not suffer that, he kindly stopped me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. We slowly drove. He knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too, for his civility. We passed at a school where the children straw at recess in the rain. We passed the fields of gazing green. We passed the setting sun. Or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill. For only Kazama my go, my tippet only till. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since then, it's centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day I first surmised the horse's head were towards eternity. In this particular poem, Dickinson's extremely famous poem, Because I Could Not Stop for Death, draws on the sentimental idea of the death as a gentle lover escorting his love to a new and the blissful home. The motive of the death as a courtly lover is highlighted in the poem's first three stanza. That here is a kindly and offers the narrator a smooth journey to the afterlife. The journey is a slow, not frighteningly hasty or the bumpy, and death is full of chivalric civility. The journey includes familiar scenes as the carriage glides past the school and the fields that we are able to see in the stanza 3. However, the fourth stanza brings an abrupt turn to the poem, Because I Could Not Stop for the Death. Dickinson wastes no time in making lengthy introduction to her topic. She immediately lets the reader know that the poem is going to be about death. There is shock value in the introductory statement. That value is in the grabbing the attention of the reader and getting his or her complete focus on the subject. It is not commonly found that the poet begins a poem with the word because. Because is a clever way to begin this poem. It immediately assumes the speaker is giving some sort of an explanation to an argument or to a question. This makes the poem seem active and alive, unlike many other poems. It gives the reader a feeling of being engaged in a dialogue with the poet and also assumes that the reader had a question and the poet is now offering an explanation. Again, this strategy has the effect of drawing the reader into a conversation as it was stating that she could not stop for the death means that the speaker didn't have the time to think about the death. She was too busy with her life. It is unlikely that the most of the people who died prematurely even did consider the death. All of us get so caught up with the daily course that we are involved in that the subject of dying has no scope to occupy our minds. Besides, that is normally something we avoid thinking about because of the painful emotions associated with it. It's probably only older people or terminally ill patients who think about their own death. It may also suggest that the poet was not given a choice about when she was to die. Dickinson's capitalized death, which is something she does often to nounce something without any reason. In this particular case, she means to personify death as a gentleman suitor who drives a horse drawn carriage. Personification means to give human characteristics or the behavior to something that is non human or non living thing. The line ends with a dash that is both characteristics of the Dickinson's work and that really launches us into the next line. Think of it as an arrow or string pulling you along to the next line. The line 2, he kindly stopped for me, and there it is. That is a kind. That is surely a new take on the death. We always think of death as a cruel and harsh, no matter how old or sick the person is, and if the person is taken away. However, Dickinson describes that as a kind. This is perhaps that indicate that death is thinking of us and remembering to come and take us, even though we never spend any time thinking of the death. This leads us to the next idea concerning that he is perceived as a gentleman, one who is courteous and chivalrous. That is a gentleman. He is not frightening or intimidating, and this has a calming effect on her. He came only because she had forgotten about him. He comes as a gentle guide who has a job that is to lead her to the eternity. The speaker seems grateful for the individual attention he is paying her. This particular line establishes the tone that most of the poem follows. Calm and acceptance about death. She is even going to enjoy the ride. Line 3 and the 4th, the carriage held but just ourselves and the immortality. Pay attention to the line break here. Line 3 says it's just her and that in the carriage. But line 4 complicates that by adding immortality. The break after ourselves creates a pregnant moment of suspension and holds us in that suspense until we drop down to the next line and discover that it is immortality. You will notice that carriage, ourselves, and immortality are capitalized. This does not mean, as in the case of that they are personified. It just means that Dickinson wants to make it known that they are important. Let us take a look at these lines, these three important words, making carriage a proper noun, a capitalized noun. She makes it more specific and more important. It's what we call a hers. a special vehicle for carrying the dead on their last earthly journey. In other words, it's not just any old carriage, it's her death chariot. By ourselves, we can assume she means her and death. The emphasis she places on the word also strengthens the relationship between the speaker and the dead. It assumes an intimacy in the relationship. It's almost like a foreshadowing, so we know something serious is going to happen between them. Immortality is the most complicated and interesting word of these three, and certainly gets us thinking. Our first reaction might be to ask, hey, you are going on a ride with a death? So isn't it immortality you are talking about? However, the poet did say immortality. This gives us many clues of the poet's perception of the death. She does not think of it as many of us would as the end, but as the step on the way to eternal life, eternal journey after a life of some sort. This is also probably the reason that her experience of that is not depicted as sorrowful and dreaded, because it's not connected to mortality in her mind, but rather to the immortality, so that it explains for us. That's why there is no fear, only calm. Stanza 2 and line 5 that we can read. We slowly draw. He knew no haste. They are really taking their time getting to wherever it is they are going. He knew no haste is an old fashioned way of saying that didn't speed or hurry. The shift from we to he in the same line is an important one. The we might allow the reader to think the speaker has some control over the pace, but Dickinson quietly or quickly reminds us that he is the one determining the relaxed progress and that the speakers just along for the ride. While we have already determined that the speaker is not afraid of that, the slow pace still creates a feeling of drawn out suspense in the poem and keeps us wondering what might happen. So that's what we find in this particular stanza. Line 8 works a couple of ways. First, we can read for as because of. So she gave up thinking about work and play because that is just so polite and charming that she felt compelled to attend to him in place of work or leisure. Or we can read the for as in place of so. Similar the first interpretation, she has given up worries and joys of life in exchange for his graciousness. Either way, the speaker seems quite happy to leave all the stuff that life consists of work and play and take off with that. She seems both happy and even a little impressed by his manners. And the third stanza, wherein we find several symbolic representation. The school represent the early stage of the life. The fields of the grazing grain represent the beautiful youth, and the setting sun represent an old age. So that's what the entire description of this stages of the life has been portrayed with these symbolic words. It speaks of a striving of children, perhaps even at recess, striving for attention, striving for chance on the equipment, etc. striving for the friendship of the cool students. We all know it. Life is not easy, not even in the childhood. It literally stands for the labors of the existence that begins early enough in our life. The ring is the reminiscent of the game that all children play called Ringa Ringa Roses, in which at the end, in other word, in and all fall down. In other words, what the poet saying is that's what. However, in the fourth stanza, she becomes troubled by what appears to be a physical threat and her separation from the nature. She realizes that the sun is passing them rather than them, implying that time is leaving her behind and that she has lost the ability to move independently. Her dress and the scarf are made up of soft material, and she is assaulted by the evening's wet chill, which symbolizes the coldness of the dead. Some critics maintain that she is destined for a celestial marriage and is dressed in white robes of the Christ bride. The body is placed in the grave in the fifth stanza, which is depicted as a swelling in the ground and suggests it will sink. Its flat roof and low roof supports add to the feelings of dissolution, and many represents how quickly the disease is forgotten. The conclusion of this stanza suggests that the carriage with the driver and the guest is continuing its journey. The soul is moving on without the body if it has been centuries since it was deposited. It was deposited because she experienced the shock of the death on that first day. It felt longer than the subsequent centuries. Even at that point, she was aware that the destination was eternity. However, the poem does not specify whether eternity comprises anything other than the void into which her senses are dissolving. Let us very quickly look at the major themes of this poem: death, immortality, and the eternity, the cyclical nature of the life and the death, the time and the eternity. The form of the poem is iambic meter. The poet has uses some of the unconventional punctuations. The imagery and the symbolisms are being used by poet in this particular poem, and these are the symbols which have been represented by the poet in this poem: the carriage, school, fields, and the sun. So that is all for today's discussion of Because I Could Not Stop for Death. Friends, I request you to go again in detail description of this entire poem. Try to understand, try to disseminate the themes, try to revise the symbols and everything. Thank you.
स्वाध्यायः